Writing a single, detailed letter of gratitude to someone who would change your life and reading it to them in person produces one of the largest and most durable effects ever measured in positive psychology research, bigger in many studies than keeping a daily gratitude journal for weeks. Most men have heard keep a gratitude journal as vague self-improvement advice. Almost none have heard a specific research-backed version of how to actually do this properly, including the parts that genuinely work and the parts that the research says are weaker than the internet usually claims. Why this is general research with one honest caveat. Here's why this isn't just a wellness influencer content. Gratitude interventions have been studied in dozens of randomized trials since Robert Emmons and Michael McCulloch's foundational 2003 research, and multiple independent meta-analyses since have consistently found genuine improvement in well-being, positive emotion, sleep quality, and relationship satisfaction. Here's the honest part. Most content built on these studies leaves out. 2019 meta-analysis by Leah Dickens found meaningfully smaller effect sizes than the original landmark studies suggested. Apart and consistent with what's happened across positive psychology research more broadly as methods have improved. That doesn't mean gratitude practice doesn't work. It means the honest claim is genuinely helpful, modestly on average, rather than life-changing, and that's a more defensible starting point for the rest of this video. With that honest calibration in place, is specifically what the stronger research says actually improves how well this works. How to do this properly? First, write the why, not just the what. Martin Seligman's original 3 Good Things exercise asks people to write down 3 things that went well each day. But the detail most gratitude journal content leaves out is the second half of the instructions. Write a sentence explaining why each good thing happened. That attribution step, tying the outcome to real cause, is specifically what deepens the effect beyond simply listing things. A list without attribution reads more like a diary of nice events. Explaining why something went well forces you to notice your own agency or someone else's specific kindness rather than treating good things as things that just happened to you. For your next entry, don't stop at had a good conversation with my brother. Add the why. What specifically made it good and what part you or he played in that. Second, 2 to 3 times a week beats every single day. This is the specific counterintuitive finding in almost no start a gratitude journal video mentions. Research reviewed on journaling frequency finds that practicing 2 to 3 times a week tends to produce better results than doing it daily, because every repetition of the same exercise leads to it losing its emotional impact through simple novelty wearing off. Most people either abandon a daily journal with a fortnight or keep it going and get diminishing returns from an exercise that's become rote. Neither outcome is what the research actually supports doing. If you're currently forcing daily entries, deliberately drop to 2 or 3 specific days a week instead. And notice whether the entries themselves start to feel more genuine rather than routine. Third, the gratitude letter is the single strongest version of this practice. Seligman's gratitude visit study, writing a detailed letter to someone who positively affected your life, then reading it to them directly in person, has produced some of the largest and most durable effects recorded across positive psychology research. Particularly for relationship quality and sustained well-being, outperforming general journaling in multiple comparisons. Journaling is a private, internal practice. Gratitude is interpersonal. It doesn't just shift how you think, it directly strengthens specific relationship at the same time, which appears to be part of why the effect is both larger and longer lasting. Pick one of person who genuinely changed something in your life and was never properly thanked for it. And just think about it, write the actual end this week and find a way to deliver already to them directly if you possibly can. Fourth, specific and detailed beats generic and quick every time. Across the research and gratitude journaling, the quality and specificity of entries consistently matters more than sheer volume or frequency. A specific, detailed entry about one person, moment, or reason produces a stronger effect than a fast, generic list of 5 vague things that you're grateful for. Speed and habit tracking apps encourage quick, low-effort entries because they're easier to sustain as a streak. The research suggests that trade-off actually costs you most of the benefit. A rushed list is close to just going through the motions. For your next entry, write about one specific thing in real detail, the actual moment, the actual person, the actual reason, rather than a quick list of several things covered in a single line each. What this practice can't do, honestly, is what needs to be said plainly, because the honest version of this topic includes real limits. Everything individually research supported, and for most men done properly, it produces a real modest improvement in mood, sleep, and relationship over time. It is not a treatment for clinical depression or substitute for addressing a genuinely difficult life circumstance. And research in this area is explicit that its strongest effects show up as helpful addition to a reasonably functioning life, not as a fix for life in crisis. If full mood is persistent, severe, or affecting your ability to function day to day, that's specifically a conversation for a doctor, not something a journal is designed to resolve on its own. That distinction matters because oversold self-improvement content sets people up to feel like a journal has failed them, when the honest research was never claiming that it could do that heavy lifting in the first place. The contrarian take. Here's the actual bottom line. Most self-improvement content treats regards to journal as a box to tick. Write three things, every day, forever. The actual research says that something more precise and honestly easier to sustain, less often than you would think, more specific they would bother to be by default, and the single most powerful version of it isn't private at all. It's a letter you actually hand to someone. Becoming a better man was never about performing gratitude daily for an audience of nobody in a private notebook. It's about the ones where you've been meaning to write for years and haven't yet. If this changes how you're thinking about your own practice, watch one of the videos we have in our channel in which you go around similar topics as habits, mental health, and also not so related, but that might be from your interests, as like gym, dieting, dating and relationships, and also clothing and style. And tell me in the comments who you're writing to your letter to. For most men watching this, there's already someone specific in mind before I even finish the sentence. See you in the next one, and God bless you.